You're listening to the Roundin Third Baseball Podcast, presented by Beyond the Monster.
So my first one was like, what was the draft process like for you?
It was stressful, honestly. It was pretty stressful. I had some friends and family over the day of the draft. And for me leading up to it, I thought I had a really good plan with my agent. I mean, we did have a good plan looking back on it with everything and kind of discussing how everything was going to go. And then, once stuff kind of gets going and rolling, like everything moves pretty quick. And I ended up going a little bit later than I thought I was going to go, but now I'm in a great situation with the White Sox and everything worked out. So, during the time it was pretty stressful, but now I'm happy with where I'm at.
Yeah. Did you have a feeling that it was going to be the White Sox? Or did that?
Yeah, I kind of did. My agent had talked to me earlier that morning and said the White Sox were definitely interested in me. There's a group of probably like 8 teams or so that I thought I was going to like most likely to get picked by. But the White Sox were definitely pretty high up on that list.
Yeah. And also being a Mass guy, what was it like kind of playing high school baseball? I know during, it gets a lot colder than, if you're playing in Texas or kind of that part of the country.
Yeah, I like it, honestly. I think now it gives me a huge advantage. After seeing kind of my first year of professional baseball, like a lot of guys that play are either from, somewhere in the Caribbean, like Dominican, Cuba, somewhere down there, or, California, Texas. Like, so it makes up at least 50-60% of the guys that play. And I feel like when they get into that cold weather, they don't really know how to deal with it as well as like guys from the Northeast or guys from, colder climates. And I feel like that gives me a little bit of an advantage. I always say that my favorite weather to pitch in is like 45 degrees.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I remember doing Little League baseball and just kind of that first month was always a struggle, just like standing in the outfield wearing like 4 layers. It's like, this still isn't enough.
Always using, yeah. And struggling to off field in high school before the game starts, yeah.
Oh, yeah. I also saw you had, Tommy John surgery in college. What was the recovery process from that like?
Yeah.
So what was kind of recovery?
Yeah, so I actually got in my senior year of high school and then missed my freshman year of college. Honestly, I feel like that was one of the biggest developmental points in my life as far as like getting stronger, kind of figuring out what I needed to do from cleaning up my mechanics, just and like learning how to pitch. I always threw relatively hard in high school, but I didn't really know how to pitch. Like I was kind of just up there throwing. And I think though that year segueing into kind of my sophomore year in college, like that was the biggest period of time where I was able to sit down and kind of look at some stuff, watch a full year of college baseball, and then, take what I learned and put it into action that next year. So, I mean, that was huge for me. I didn't think obviously the rehab was hard and like it was hard work every day, but I was fortunate enough that I didn't have any setbacks or anything. So for me, it was pretty smooth. It was just kind of put your head down, do the work, and then, come out better on the other side.
Yeah. How would you say you've changed? You've grown as a pitcher during your time with the White Sox, after college?
100%. I think that the pitcher I was, I mean, this year, obviously I was hurt and I didn't have a great year, but where I was at the beginning of this year in spring when I was feeling good and then at the end of last year, I felt like, once again, like I just became more of a pitcher. Like I was able to command stuff better. I had better feel for, 3-4 pitches. And I think, going forward, once I get my shoulder back healthy, like that's just something to build on for me. I felt good. A couple positives out of this year for me were my changeup felt really good, and that was something I had worked on a lot in the offseason. So I was happy to see good results with that pitch. And now, once I get healthy, it's just about piecing everything together.
Yeah. And what's kind of the favorite minor league city you've played in? I know you've been in a couple levels, so you've probably seen a good amount of the country.
That's a good question. I'm trying to think. I think my favorite stadium I've played at is probably Greenville, South Carolina, the Red Sox High Stadium, just because I grew up a Red Sox fan. Playing in the Fenway replica is cool. I think city overall is probably, I want to come up with an answer and then I'll look back and say I missed something. I like Pensacola a lot in Double-A, but The beach. I like Pensacola. Trying to think of honestly, Charlotte's like one of the cooler places we've been. Charlotte's a cool city. Um, trying to think of other places I went this year. I'd say yeah, probably Pensacola. I think Pensacola was my most fun week. I threw well that week and it was fun going at the beach. It was nice. I'd say Pensacola.
There's a lot of Red Sox guys I've talked to, and most of the time they always say Greenville. Whenever I ask them their favorite city they played at.
Yeah, but I remember we had they had some promo going on that Sunday too when we played there, and it was like 9,000 people or something like that at the Sunday game. So it was cool.
Yeah, that one in Charlotte is on my bucket list too, especially seeing pictures of, because the Charlotte one's kind of right in downtown area, right?
Right in the middle of the city. It's really nice field, scenery and everything. It's cool.
I know we already talked about your Red Sox guy growing up. So who were your favorite players to watch? Were you like an Ortiz guy? Who'd you kind of tune into every night?
I was an Ortiz guy. I got a poster of Ortiz still in my room. I like Pedroia a lot. I like Josh Beckett. Those are probably my three favorite. Josh Beckett, Pedroia, David Ortiz.
Yeah. Is there anything from Beckett's game that you kind of try to incorporate into your own in any way?
Honestly, I haven't watched a ton of Beckett pitch since I was younger, honestly. Maybe I should go back and start looking at some of his stuff, but I guess, that's kind of the pitcher I want to be, is like a power righty pitcher with, good fastball, good breaking balls. So, yeah, honestly, maybe I should start watching more of his stuff and incorporating it. But no, I haven't really so far.
Yeah. I remember watching him in 2007, and that was just a crazy, crazy run they went on.
I've seen 2007,
Yeah. And also kind of, how has each level, challenged you as you've moved through the White Sox minor league system?
Yeah, I think that early on, I think that A ball, yeah, I know some people say like, oh, double A is like good SEC ball. Obviously, I didn't play in the SEC, but I don't think that's true at all. Like, I don't think there's anything comparable to double A from college. I think that like low A, high A is kind of similar to some good college baseball. And I think from there, it was more just being consistent. Like I was able to, my first year I got drafted, I played some in low A, just getting my feet wet with just seeing how professional baseball works. And then that following year, I started in high A. And for me, those two levels were kind of just, trying to be consistent with the stuff I had. I know I had good stuff, and I know if I was consistent, I was going to have success at those levels. And, fortunately, I did have success at those levels, and I didn't spend too long there. But I think once I got to double A, that was the first level that really challenged me. Like that was where, I knew I had the stuff to do well at that level. I just had to be a little bit finer with my pitches, sequence guys a little bit better. Like kind of like I said before, like learning how to pitch a little bit better, because at that level everybody has good stuff and hitters see it every day. So it's not like you can just overpower guys for the most part. And I think that was where a lot of my growth happened last year too. I was there for most of the summer down in Birmingham, and I mean, I had some struggles in double A too. I started off the season when I first got promoted there. I started off throwing really well, and then I had a little bit of like a blip, like tweaked my lat, missed a week or so, came back, and for like a month straight after that, I probably had 4 or 5 like pretty crappy outings in a row. And then I had some conversations with pitching coaches with the White Sox, some of my pitching coaches from back home over the All-Star break, and I was able to come back after the All-Star break and kind of look at what I was doing for that previous month, and was like, okay, what's going wrong here? What was going on when I was throwing good? What was going on now that I'm not throwing as well? And kind of see the two differences in what was wrong and what was going on. In the last, half of the year, I was able to have a really good end to the season. So, and then obviously this year with AAA, I was in AAA a little bit at the end of last year, but only for a couple starts. This year was just kind of frustrating overall with how everything went with, the injuries. And then when I was pitching, I didn't really feel 100%, wasn't throwing well. So my biggest priority this offseason is just to get back healthy, get back feeling good, and then, kind of get back to neutral with everything just so I can go beat.
Yeah. What's kind of the best advice that you've gotten in your baseball career so far?
I'd say in professional baseball, it's just, kind of roll with the highs and the lows. The season's so long and you have so many games, so many pitches, so many days of the field that, like, if you get these crazy highs and crazy lows, it's going to be a roller coaster the whole season. Like, just being able to stay consistent, that's been something I've been trying to work on since I was, in college. Like, I always knew at my best, I can play with the best in the world. It's just about how often can I be at my best, and that's literally the challenge of pro ball. Like, there's a lot of guys out there that can do it, once in a while, but pro ball is the challenge of doing it every single day. And I think maintaining kind of a level head, the same process, the same approach every day, that's one of the most important things to having success, I think.
Yeah, I feel like that's key, especially, being a pitcher too, and, all the craziness that goes with it.
Yeah, 100%.
Yeah. And also, if you could pick one baseball memory, whether it's from the minors or from college, what would be the one that sticks out?
Probably, honestly, high school. Winning the state championship in high school my junior year. That's one of my favorite baseball moments. And we had a good team too. We had 3 guys on that team play professional baseball too.
Oh, really?
So we were low. That was one of my favorite teams I've been on. Is that 2017 high school team?
Yeah. Especially for being from Mass, having that many on one team is impressive.
Yeah, that's great. Yeah, I feel like a lot of people don't realize up in Mass that's not really that common. You get one guy playing professional baseball on your high school team. That's crazy.
Yeah. I think it was 2 years ago. Free from BC, and seeing him go in the first round, I was like, yeah, seeing a BC guy go with the first 25 picks is kind of wild.
Yeah, we actually had a pretty good group. My graduating class in high school up in Massachusetts, we have me, Sal, Stephen Hager from Andover, Mike Vassell went to BC High. We got a group of 5 or 6. Of Dom Keegan, he went to Vanderbilt and he's with the Rays now. We have a good amount of guys from Massachusetts my year in professional baseball.
Yeah. And I just have 2 spinoffs that are kind of holiday ones. It was when I was talking to Carl's prospect yesterday. He was very adamant about this first one. How early for you is too early to put up a Christmas tree?
Oh man, my family's late with the Christmas tree. We barely put it up in time. I mean, if it was me personally, I'd say too early. I think after Thanksgiving is the proper time to do it.
Okay.
Like that weekend, that kind of Sunday after Thanksgiving, that's when you can start to kind of go full Christmas mode, decorations, tree. That gives you a couple weeks, then you got to take it down. You got to take it down by a certain date. Because my family, we're really busy and we never ended up taking our Christmas tree down in time. It'd be like the middle of January and our Christmas tree will still be up in the living room. So I'm more like after Christmas, give it kind of a week and a half, 2 weeks, and then after that, a week after New Year's, I think down.
I agree. My family's the same way. It'll be the first week of February, and I'll turn to my parents and be like, I love you guys, but I think the tree's seen better days.
Yeah, we get a real tree too. So if it starts dying, the things start going on the carpet too. I don't even know what they're called, little pine needles.
Yep.
Yeah.
And then my last would be, if you could pick one Thanksgiving dish, what would be your favorite? Is a must-have every single year?
Stuffing's my favorite.
Okay.
Stuffing, I think. I like mashed potatoes too. A good mashed potatoes, I think, are one of my favorite sides ever. I'll get mashed potatoes all year throughout the year.